I heard your show about overweight pets, and I know that my cat is very fat. I have her on a diet, but how can you get an indoor cat to exercise? Also, are laser pointers bad for cat's eyes? My cat will chase a laser pointer for exercise, but I don't want to hurt her. That's a great question, because cats are one of the main species that we have a problem with obesity. And definitely, domestic cats are lazy. They don't have to hunt for their food, and they don't have to travel long distances and find hunting grounds and water. So domestic cats just don't have to expend as much energy as they maybe did throughout history. So, or I guess, another way of looking at it is maybe they're energy efficient. They want to rest up in between big bursts of activity, and they just don't have any reason to have a big burst of activity. So wild cats will sleep about 16 hours, building up their reserves. Domestic cats sleep more like 20 hours a day. Our cats are sleeping. So how can we get them to play? I do think laser pointers are perfectly safe as long as you don't point them right in the cat's eyes. So, and even if you just briefly for a second have the laser pointer go into the cat's eyes, I think it's fine. And in fact, if your cat gets a workout from a laser pointer, we do not, that's the benefits of that outweigh the slim possibility that anything's going to happen to their eyes. So just don't aim it right at their eyes. The one downside I've seen to laser pointers is that it can be frustrating for a cat because they're chasing this laser pointer and they never actually win. So if you use the laser pointer a lot, just every so often throw down a toy that the cat can actually get to and get some satisfaction so they don't end up crazy kitty. But a couple other toys out there for cats that I think are really good for these fat indoor kitties. First of all, when it comes to feeding them, there is this thing called a deli dome, and I'm going to try and describe it. It's maybe a foot tall by a foot and a half wide. It kind of looks like a little mountain. And in the top of it, the cat's water bowl sits down inside of it. But it has, you take every morning and you get these little balls and you load them with your cat's kibble. So maybe you put 5 little kibbles of the cat food in the little balls, and you then put those 5 balls full of 5 kibbles each inside the deli dome. And what happens is throughout the day, and it's timed, one of these balls, the dome will make a sound, and one of these little balls with food in it will roll out. And the little ball itself has a tiny little hole that the cat has to bat the ball around until the hole is positioned just right for one of the kibbles to fall out. So really, your cat is working for his food. And you can even program this deli dome to make a noise when it's getting ready to release a ball. And the cats are smart. I guarantee they will figure out, hey, a ball comes out of this thing with 5 kibbles in it that I have to work for, and it happens every 3 hours, and they'll be there waiting for it. But I thought it was kind of cute. You can also program it with your own voice. So you can, even if you're not home, the little dome will record your voice, and you'll say, "Here, kitty, kitty," and the cat can then get its ball and work for its food. So I thought that was a really cool toy. That's called the Deli Dome. A couple other toys that I think are nice for when you're not there during the day. There's one, the actual name of it is Frolly Cat, I guess like frolicking cat. Frolly Cat rotating laser toy. So rather than you sitting there with the laser when you're home, this thing sits on the ground, and it has 360-degree laser patterns. The lasers kind of swoosh all around, and the cat can chase the laser while you're gone. Now, I would say with that, just like with any laser pointer, eventually when you come home, give them a treat so they can actually catch what they're chasing and not be frustrated. Couple others. There's one called Da Bird, D-A, Bird. And these are hot. These things are hard to get, but they're really pretty simple. It's like a fishing line, like a rod with a little feather bird on the end. And when you come home, you hold this rod, and there's a little dangly, what looks like a bird hanging off the end. You just kind of bounce that around, and the cat has to try and bat at the bird. And they have tons of fun with that. And you can get them with catnip in them and different things to make it more attractive. Or if you just don't feel like holding that rod and doing it yourself, there's another one called the Panic Mouse. And this one basically does something similar, but it's automated. It's like a little stand that has what looks like a bird. It has a feathers at the end of a coil, and it kind of flops back and forth, and the cat can lay there and try and catch it. And there's about 1 million variations on this, too. There's one that looks the same, but instead of a bird, it looks more like a insect. So you can try those things. A lot of cats are still perfectly happy with the basic old-fashioned toys like fuzzy mice, or crinkle balls, little balls that make kind of a crinkling noise. Or you could just take tinfoil and ball that up and roll balls of tinfoil around. One other thing that you might want to invest in to make the toys seem a little bit more attractive, there's little puzzle boxes or peekaboo boxes that you can get where you can take your cat's favorite toys and you can put them inside of the box, and the box has holes on the top and on the sides, and it has little dividers, and the cat actually has to work. So you could put the furry mice or the crinkle balls or even a treat if you wanted to, down inside this box, and the cat has to really work around this puzzle box to try and get the toys out. So that's another good one. Just a few others I'll mention because there really are some good toys out there now. There's one called a sisal roller. It's made by a company called Lazy Pet. And this thing has a base that's filled with catnip that the cats can scratch on. And then it also has like a spring coming out of the top of it that has a pom-pom that kind of dangles down off of the spring, and it has jingle bells. So if your cat, you can set it up, or your cat can knock it over and roll it around, and they're both scratching their claws and playing at the same time. So I like that one. One more I'm going to mention, and this isn't exactly a toy, but there's something called the Mewy Birdland Bonanza. We'll probably put all these in a blog on our website so you don't have to remember the names. But the Mewy Birdland Bonanza is just a DVD full of twittering birds and scampering little creatures that you can put on when you leave, and you can just play it in a loop, and your cat will sit there and watch it on television all day long. So a lot of cool stuff to get your indoor cat active. Or, the other thing you could do is get a harness and try and take her out and take her for a walk. There are actually little, I'm almost embarrassed to say this, there's little tiny, tiny treadmills that you can try and get a cat to walk on. My cat would never do that. So, or you can just maybe put a bird feeder outside the window, and that'll make your cat kind of go crazy and run around inside and jump up in the window and try and get the birds. So some of those things are pretty good options.